Hey guys, we're back with another video, and in this video we're going to be talking about the mindset that will very quickly improve your life. Okay, now I'm going to reveal that in just a second, but I'm also going to give you just a bunch of examples on how this is going to work and how you can implement this into your own life. Okay, so the mindset is, how can I get even better at everything that I do? Okay, and that goes for all aspects of life. So we're gonna get into some examples here in a minute. So how can I get even better at everything that I do? Okay, so anything that you do, whether it be, let's say public speaking, playing poker, socializing, sports, like whatever it is, you always ask yourself, how can I get even better? Okay, it's because you want to imply that you're already good at these things, but how could you get even better, right? How could you improve even more? So let's start with some examples here, and also this mindset also carries into going towards things that you're fearing in life as well too. So let's say you're scared of a certain something, or something triggers you in a certain kind of way, right? Let's just say that's the case. Something is making you upset, or something you feel isn't normal, right? For me, I have tons of things in my life that have triggered me, have triggered certain emotions in me. And whenever you feel that trigger, I'll give you one example. So I had a trauma in my past where I ran into someone unexpectedly and had like a very bad encounter. I'm not going to go into details about it, but I ran into someone unexpectedly without realizing that that person was around, and I ran into them and like had a very traumatic encounter. So throughout my life, whenever I would run into somebody unexpectedly, like on the street, like somebody I know, or somebody that knows me, whatever it may be, that I'm familiar with, I always get like this little kind of like a weird tremble that comes through my body, because I'm getting triggered, because the trauma that I went through when I was a child is coming up, and like I feel more nervous in a situation like that than what's actually normal. So when you see those kind of things, when you see like your mind or your body gets triggered in the way, and an easy way of knowing when you get triggered is if you have some kind of reaction to something that's not considered normal. Okay, so let's say, for example, I'll use another example with myself. I had some trauma when I was younger with a dog as well. When I was playing with this dog, I was kind of like pulling its tail and like just messing with this dog. It bit me in the back of my leg. Okay, so this dog just bit me, and I started bleeding. I started crying. I must have been like 5 or 6 years old. I don't really remember 100% how old I was, but I started crying, and it was this huge traumatic, like bad experience, right? So, the emotions that brought out in me was very traumatic moving forward with dogs, right? So every time now I would see a dog, it would just be like this weird feeling of like fear, where I'm just like, I don't want to get really close to the dog. But then I looked around me and I saw everyone else was fine, right? So everyone else was fine around dogs. I wasn't fine. So if you look around and you see everyone is okay with a certain something, and then like you don't feel okay with a certain something, that's usually something from your past that has now gotten triggered, right? So you're getting triggered, very simply put, you're getting triggered when your reaction to something is completely not normal in reality, right? So let me give an example, another example. So let's say if you see a tiger, okay? Let's say if a tiger was right next to me right now, I would be very scared. And you should be scared because that's a normal reaction if a tiger is literally growling right next to you in your apartment. That should scare you. So that's very normal, right? But now let's say it's a dog, just a normal dog that's sitting right next to you, and now you're like, ooh, that's not normal, okay? Another thing that's not normal, I'll talk about another fear that I had, was flying on airplanes, especially during the takeoff. I look around me, everyone is fine. There's nothing wrong. You know, airplanes are one of the safest places you can be on planet Earth, honestly. It's funny, yeah. I feel like airplanes are extremely safe. They're way safer than even walking down a sidewalk, right? So there's no reason to be afraid on an airplane. But for me, like I always got triggered, like you know, the anticipation of the plane going off, or you know, or just like you know when the plane is getting turbulent. I found that I was way more worried than everyone else was. Some other people, like if it's really bad turbulence, yeah, that's gonna make some people a little bit concerned. But for me, like my levels of concern were like 10 out of 10, right? So I was super concerned in that situation. I was so concerned that it would just, you know, just make me sweat and like sometimes have like a tremble and just like breathe really shallow. So all those things, I'm giving you guys an example of things that I can get even better at, right? So anything that emotionally disturbs you in a certain kind of way gives you a hint on what you should work on in your life, right? So whatever makes you feel uncomfortable, whatever makes you feel any sort of like strong resistance or negative emotion, that's the thing that you want to go towards, right? That's what you want to go towards because that's what's going to help you evolve as a human being. That's what's going to help you evolve, right? And I've created a channel on this video, I've created a video on this YouTube channel talking about specifically that you should never delay your evolution, okay? That's the number one thing I talk about. Do not delay your evolution. So what am I getting at with this video here? There's a couple of points. I'm trying to make, okay? One is that you should never, ever, 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 ever delay your evolution or avoid the things that make you uncomfortable or bring about negative emotions, okay? Because the way I got over most of my fear of going on an airplane or some of my fear with creating a YouTube channel or public speaking or whatever, you know, I'm not perfect in any of those areas by any stretch of the imagination. I still have, you know, some trauma with those things, but I'm getting better and better and better and better. And the only way I'm doing that is literally facing the fears. So, for example, like my fear of airplanes, I've been on, you know, like I haven't flown in the last few years because of the COVID and I'm having some visa issues. But before that, the way I decided to tackle that fear is I just literally went on like 100 airplanes, right? I just went on as many planes as I possibly can. And I know that's not, you know, that's not feasible for a lot of people watching the channel. You're like, all right, that costs a lot of money just to like, you know, fly around on vacations and you know, work trips and stuff like that. But that's just an example, right? Or public speaking. Put yourself in a situation where you're public speaking as much as possible. That's the way you alleviate that fear, right? That's the way you help your mind and your subconscious mind know that, like, you know what? This is okay. Yes, I had some bad experiences in the past, but now your mind is thinking, okay, we're doing it now. Like, this is okay. This is okay now, right? This becomes okay. And then another thing is, you know, whatever the fear is, whatever the fear you have is, or whatever you get triggered by, the more you put yourself in that situation, the more reference experiences your brain is going to have, and it's going to be okay. Even if you're like super nervous in a certain situation or whatever, just be nervous. It's okay to feel nervous. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, you can just do it and feel just totally fine with it. And you don't have to feel overwhelmed. I mean, you could feel overwhelmed. That's what I'm getting at this point. Like, you could feel overwhelmed, you could not feel overwhelmed, you could feel nervous, you could not feel nervous. It doesn't matter. As long as you're taking action towards what you know is gonna move your life forward, and what you know is gonna be the evolution in your being. So I wanna make this clear. Am I telling you to get over your fear of tigers and snakes? No, I'm not. So whatever fear we have as human beings, like, you know, I'm scared of tigers and snakes as well. But when I think about it, yes, there is a path to overcome those kind of fears. Like, you have to, like, incrementally, you know, get used to, like, I don't know about tigers. Actually, I don't know if there's a path for tigers. But for snakes, like, you just kind of watch videos of snakes. First you look at pictures of snakes, then you watch videos of snakes, and then you eventually go and look at snakes, you know, in real life, and then you eventually maybe touch a snake, and then eventually maybe you rub the snake, and then eventually you get to a point, maybe it might take, you know, months or whatever, where you have a snake around your neck. Yes, it's possible, but you have to ask yourself, is this fear important to get over, right? That's a very valid question. Is this fear important to get over? Like, do I have to get over this fear? Is this gonna help me? Is this gonna help the evolution of my being, right? And as far as snakes and tigers go, for me, the answer is no, it's not gonna help me. Or even my fear of heights. It's not gonna really help my life that much or at all if I get over a fear of heights, right? Like, let's say, like, I'm hanging off the balcony. I don't need to be hanging off the balcony, right? So I don't need to do that. But for me, you know, with creating a YouTube channel and my purpose in life to be the strongest version of myself and to lead, teach, and inspire others to do the same, that being my purpose, I have to get better at public speaking, or feel more comfortable, you know, public speaking and conveying what I want to convey, right? Or, yeah, just things like that. So, and I made this video more about, like, getting triggered and things like that, but this is also goes for anything, even if you're not triggered, right? Even if you're not, even if you're totally fine with a certain aspect in your life, you should still be trying to get better. Like, why would you not be trying to get better, right? Because if you're not getting better, you're usually getting worse. You know, that's a great example in poker or any profession that you know, that you have. Like, whoever's watching this video, you could be a poker player, you could not be a poker player, it doesn't matter. Whatever your profession is, you should always be trying to get better each and every day. At least, you know, every week that goes by, every month that goes by, every year that goes by, you should be better, right? So which means you should be studying your craft, whatever it is. Study more than everyone else. That's the only way to really get ahead and really just get to a point where you're gonna be better than the competition, right? Because that's how you get paid the most money. That's just how it works. And this doesn't only go for your craft or poker. Like I said, this goes for every aspect of your life. You should be strategizing. How can I get even better? But without beating yourself up, right? Like, without telling yourself, like, oh, I suck at this, so I need to get better. I'm shit. Like, without any of the negative self-talk, skipping all that garbage, right? No negative self-talk at all. Skipping all that and getting to a point where you're just like, how do I get even better? Okay? How do I get even better at whatever it is that I want to get better at? Ask yourself that question. That's the mindset. Ask yourself that question. How do I get even better? Even if you're excellent at something. Okay, let's say you're the best at your craft in the world. The best of the best. If you stop getting even better on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, somebody else who is going to be doing the work is going to come in and they're going to knock you off your high horse, right? They just are. They're going to come knock you off your high horse, and you're going to be in a place where now you're forced to get even better. Why not stay ahead of the curve? Okay, just So what I ask you guys to do from watching this video, it's going to be different for everybody. All right, it's going to be different for everybody. Get to a place where you are asking yourself, which areas of my life can I improve on? Whether that be, relationships, anything but social life, your business, your craft, poker, whatever, public speaking, the gym, working out, your body, like whatever it is, ask yourself, how can I get even better? And start doing those things, because that's what's going to help your life. And that's what's going to help you evolve as a human being. And when you're evolving, like Tony Robbins says, when you're evolving as a human being and when you're making progress, that is the equivalent. It equals happiness, right? Progress equals happiness. When you're moving your life in the right direction and you're moving up and you're getting better, whichever way you feel you are getting better, as long as you're improving in some way, shape, or form, you're gonna start to feel a lot better. You're gonna feel a lot happier. You're gonna feel more accomplished, more content, because you're striving towards something. If there's nothing you're striving towards, if you're just like, at a point where you're just like, I'm completely content with everything, that's fine too. But as long as you're striving towards maybe some sort of spiritual aspect in that case, like for example, you're striving to feel more peaceful throughout the day, so you're doing meditation, you're taking like long, slow walks outside, you're getting some sun, right? Because there is such a thing as like being maybe too ambitious and too much in the realm of like, I need to improve, to the point where you don't like yourself the way that you are right then and there. So that's a problem as well. So you have to find that right balance of appreciating, loving yourself exactly as you are, but also being hungry to strive for more out of life and more out of yourself. So that's something to keep in mind. There's a great saying, one of the guys I follow, his name's Ed Milet, and he talks about 80% of my life, he says, is being content and grateful for everything that I have in my life. 80% of it, a large majority of it, is just being grateful, content for everything that I've manifested in my life, everything that I have in my life from A to Z. And then the other 20% is striving for more, strategizing. How can I get even better? How can I become the strongest version of myself in every which way, every shape and form, right? How can I become the strongest version of myself? So there's that balance. You don't want to, it's hard to say, it's 80-20, but it could be like 50-50, whatever it is. I think you need both. You need both. It's the yin and the yang. You have to have both. You have to have that self-love, that gratitude for everything that you have in your life right now, but you should also have that ambition to strive and achieve even more in your life. Okay? And this video is getting kind of long, so we'll leave it at that. Subscribe, like the video, comment. I'll see you guys in the next one.